Hello and welcome to the general election debate for York County, hosted by the York Union. Thank you for all coming this evening, it's massively appreciated, and for your donations. The York Union is student run, which means we're a bit cash strapped, so all your donations goes into the speakers' travel costs and the wine reception that we put on for you after the debate. Going on to that, we have invited the three political parties who these candidates come from, so the students downstairs in the wine reception are available to talk to. You can have any of your questions answered in their policies. I hope they're experts because they're so involved in student politics. So, today's event is the debate between the three candidates. We decided to go for the three candidates from the three major parties because they got 96% of the votes in 2010. And this is a debate. We advertised it as a debate and we wanted the three candidates to have a debate with each other instead of just spewing their own political platform, which is why, unfortunately, we couldn't have the UKIPs and the Greens come today. So we're sorry that we did that, but it's all in line for a quality debate and because the time has changed as well. So, York County, which is where this university resides and where a lot of us have the opportunity to vote for the first time, particularly the students, the undergrads amongst us. So York County is a hotly contested seat. Julian Sturdy won it in 2010, ousting the Lib Dem candidate who won it by 0.6% in 2005. So it's always been a bit of a topsy-turvy seat, and hopefully this year it will be as competitive as it was before. So, the debate will be structured. The three candidates will have 7 minutes to try and win your votes, to win the vote you made for them, and after the 7 minutes, as we go through, we will then invite questions from the audience. So please put your hands up because this event is tied around you to ask questions to the candidates. Anything you want about national, about local, or about the personalities, anything, we invite everything. And then they will have an opportunity to debate and then try and win the argument. After that, after about 45-50 minutes, we'll then invite the candidates to close out with a 2-minute speech, and then that's the end of the debate and we'll have a wine reception. So, first of all, Julian Sturdy. Julian Sturdy is an MP. He went to school in Harrogate, he's been a Yorkshire man all his life. He used to be a councillor in Harrogate as well, and he comes from a farming background. So Julian Sturdy is the current Conservative MP for York House. I'd like to start the debate with him in his 7-minute speech.
Thank you, Callum. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be with you here today. This looks very professional. I feel like I'm about to take part in one of these TV debates, but maybe we might get onto that as a topic, or whether they are or not going to be taking part. But I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear three very different opinions from all of us tonight. But one thing I think the three of us will undoubtedly agree on is that this is one of the most important general elections in living memory. And no one can call it at the moment, and being absolutely honest, I don't think even the brightest political commentators could call how the election is going to fall. But one thing is certain, ladies and gentlemen, it will be David Cameron or Ed Miliband will be walking into Dartford 10 after May the 7th. Unless, I might add, unless Labour are going to do some special sort of deal with the SNP, which sort of anoints Alex Salmond as a new leader. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Things aren't going particularly well for Labour in Scotland, but maybe Joe will touch on that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I am particularly proud of what the Conservative Party, with our coalition partners, have achieved over the last 5 years. It's been a tough time, I accept that. There's been a lot of difficult decisions the coalition government has had to take. But when David Cameron became Prime Minister, the government was borrowing £1 in every 4 it spent, and we were faced with the threat of a sovereign debt crisis. We had suffered one of the deepest recessions since the war, and had the second largest deficit of any advanced economy in the world. And almost 500,000 people were losing their jobs, not being able to find work. So, ladies and gentlemen, when a country is heavily indebted and is borrowing money hand over fist, which we were, the only solution is to tax people more or spend less. So as a coalition, we set out our plans with some tax rises and spending cuts in many departments, whilst protecting foreign aid, primary school education and the National Health Service. And as a result of some of these very difficult reforms, our economy is now well on the road to recovery. We were the fastest growing major economy in the world last year. There have been more than 750,000 new businesses have been created over the past 4 years. And the York Science Park here, the spin-off from the university, is a sort of a classic success story of that and what has been going on there. I'm proud of the number of people in employment. You know, it is at a record high. Almost 2 million more people are in work since the last election. It is fantastic that more jobs have been created in this country alone than across the whole of Europe combined. The majority of these new jobs are not part-time or zero-hour contractors as being claimed. 75% of them are in full-time employment. Job creation is by no means confined to the south either. And it should be celebrated that York is leading the way in our economic recovery, where unemployment has fallen dramatically across both York Central and the York Outer constituencies. Unemployment, and crucially youth unemployment, has fallen by more than 2/3 since 2007. And I think that is a truly astonishing figure. The facts remain that young people are almost twice as likely to find a job in this country than they are in France, and 3 times more likely to find a job than in Spain, where youth unemployment rates have soared to 26% and 53% respectively. In fact, more jobs, ladies and gentlemen, have been created in Yorkshire, I am a proud Yorkshireman, than over the last year in the whole of France. So, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at this and you look at what is happening in Europe, there should be a lesson to the countries that do not take those tough decisions to get the debt under control. And there has been words of warning from the OECD. It says, they've said, when specifically talking about the UK and the Chancellor, they've said, well done so far, Chancellor, but finish the job. Britain has a long-term economic plan, but it needs to stick with it. That's not my words, that's not the Prime Minister's words. But it is crucial that we do that, and that's exactly what the Conservative Party intend to do. And we will not risk our economy or our economic recovery for quick political gain. That would be the real danger of this election if we did that. The task before us has been great, cutting the deficit, which we have now halved as a share of national income. It was essential to make more wide-ranging reforms to our economy. But scaremongers have argued that we want to make cuts that will take us back to the 1930s. In fact, as the Impartial Office of Budget Responsibility has made clear, by 2019-20, day-to-day spending on public services would be at its lowest level since 2002, 2003 in real terms. And that was when Labour had been in power for 5 years under Tony Blair. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud that in the face of having to be forced to make spending cuts, we've increased our National Health Service spending in real terms every year. The total spending has increased by over 12 billion over the course of the Parliament, and the Chancellor announced an additional 2 billion for frontline services, and it's clear that we can only afford to invest in our NHS for the long term if we have that strong economy. And I will continue to campaign, if I'm re-elected as the MP, to rebalance our health funding on where it should be rebalanced more towards age than deprivation, something I've been campaigning on for quite a while now, to deliver a fairer funding service within our health service for York and North Yorkshire. Yesterday, the Institute of Fiscal Studies confirmed that average household incomes are now restored to around their pre-crisis levels. Wages are up 4% of household employment and inflation. But there's still much more to do. There really is. I want a better deal for the UK. I want Britain to live within its means and eliminate our deficit and start to bring down borrowing levels down. We need to encourage aspiration by increasing, and this might be not something you all agree with, but by increasing the 40% tax rate to 50,000 and deliver tax cuts for married couples. Aspiration, ladies and gentlemen, is not a dirty word. I'll finish on this point. Aspiration is not a dirty word. We should embrace it. You come here to university, lots of you, for aspiration. We need to drive aspiration. And we need a government that will deliver for your aspiration. And I believe the Conservative government will do that.